Welcome to this week's edition of Sun News at Noon. I'm Katie Walker.
And I'm Keziah Philpott. Thanks for tuning in. A shooting that occurred in Santa Clara Thursday is leaving Utah residents questioning Utah gun safety laws. Officers responded to reports of gunshots at 11 p.m. Upon arrival, one adult female, Heather Ann Barla, was found dead at the scene. One adult male, Brandon Alfred Barla, was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the arm. The perpetrator of the shootings was a teenage family member of the victims. Now, board members of the Utah Gun Violence Prevention Center are questioning the House Bill 133, which would loosen the state gun restriction. If passed, it would bring down the open carry age to 18. This bill is currently under consideration by Utah legislators.
A 37-year-old Canadian man was found dead after an apparent fall in Zion National Park. Authorities received a call about a possible fall at 7:04 a.m. and the emergency crew from Hurricane Valley were the first on the scene. Just 30 minutes later, Cesar Herrera Ruiz was pronounced dead. A search and rescue team found his body the same day he fell on the Canyon Overlook Trail, where sandstone formations rise about 50 feet above the ground. The trail was temporarily closed but has since been reopened.
A Utah man and his California business partner were charged with multiple counts of money laundering and wire fraud of over $25 million. 66-year-old Thomas Madden of Washington City and 54-year-old Jeremy Graybo engaged in an 8-year Ponzi scheme, impacting over 200 investors. The scheme included Madden and Graybo telling investors that they were working with multiple partners on casino and resort projects in Mexico. Investigators said that they lacked any real business operations. Authorities asked the public to reach out if you are a victim in this case.
A second federal judge, Lauren Alekin, halted Trump's proposed freeze on all federal loans and grants. The funding freeze came from the White House Office of Management and Budget, instructing federal agencies to pause activities related to federal financial assistance. The memo was met by 2 lawsuits, causing the Office of Management and Budget to rescind the memo. White House Press Secretary posted a contradictory statement on X, explaining that despite the memo being rescinded, the freeze was still on. However, Alekin for the U.S. District Court passed a temporary restraining order, ensuring that, for the time being, all federal grants and loans will continue as scheduled.
Residents of St. George want to invoke change to Trump's new policies by conducting a protest near Main Street on Tuesday. Hundreds of people showed up to this protest defending immigrants' rights against immigration and customs enforcement. I spoke to an attendee of this protest, Allison Wacone, who is a student here at Utah Tech University.
The main reason of the protest was really just to, highlight immigration. There's obviously always been a lot of controversy about immigration on both sides. Focusing on keeping families together, acknowledging the fact not all immigrants who come here are criminals or are violent. A lot of times you'll see in the media people try to, make us out to be that way. And so really that was the point, was just showing support for our community, for our people, saying, hey, we're here, but we're here for the right reasons. Like any protest, I think just showing people that a lot of those misconceptions, a lot of that rhetoric and things that are said about immigrants, that they're not true. I think just kind of opening people's perspective and opening people's mind. Utah is obviously known for being very conservative. I feel like a lot of people, as they're growing up, they're kind of grandfathered into certain beliefs or values and morals that are very different than, the norm now. It's super important to, I think realize that we are all a community. Not only that, but even just the importance of speaking up for other people who don't necessarily have a voice. I think that there's so many students here on campus. We have a lot of international students, who would be affected by a lot of these policies or a lot of this immigration going on. And maybe because of rules and regulations they have to abide by, they can't speak up, but other students here on campus can speak up for them and other people in the same boat as them.
Here at the university, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences is hosting their 8th annual Vagina Project. The event will be held tonight from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the Eccles Building on campus. This is an interdisciplinary event that challenges stereotypes through interactive exhibits and art and performances. This year's theme for the event is Universal Love. The event is open to the public and admission is free.
I personally drove past the protest on Tuesday, and there were so many people that just lined the streets supporting this cause.
While I didn't see the actual event or information about the event prior, I saw a lot of people posting their support on TikTok and Instagram pages. Coming up after the break, sports anchor Katie Phipps will bring you all of the latest Trailblazer highlights.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine, why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
In the southwest corner of Utah, nestled among the towering walls of Zion National Park, is a place where stunning scenery is your constant companion. Here, 2,400 square miles combine for a vast playground. We are a place to immerse yourself, to lose yourself, to find yourself. We are Greater Zion.
Utah Tech women's golf opened their season with a runner-up tie at the Wingham Preview this past weekend in Litchfield Park, Arizona. The Blazers had their first overall team finish in program history since becoming a D1 university. Junior Jenna Anderson took a runner-up honors finish after clutching a 71 on both Sunday and Monday. Anderson birdied 4 of her last 6 holes on Monday and an additional 4 birdies on Tuesday, putting together her best tournament performance of her collegiate career. The Trailblazers will continue their season back in Arizona for the Rio Verde Collegiate Invitational on February 21st to 23rd. Utah Tech clocked 2 more broken records at the Ron Mann Classic this past weekend for women's track and field. Senior athlete Kylie Bishop set a program record for the high jump with 1.65 meters, beating her previous record of 1.6 meters, securing her a second-place finish. Roshana Gibson secured her second program record of the season in the 200-meter sprint with a time of 25.21 seconds. The Trailblazers 4x400-meter relay team with athletes Lily Sampson, Whitney Christensen, Megan Jenkins, and Kelly Dingenhoff locked in a third-place finish with a time of 3 minutes and 52.37 seconds. After a weekend off, the Trailblazers will return and hit the road again in Pocatello, Idaho at the Mountain State Games, February 14th and 15th. The women's track athlete Roshana Gibson speaks on her strong start to the season and team environment.
As far as improving, I'm constantly talking to my coach, constantly looking over film. I probably watch film like 4 times a day just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Again, talking to my coach, he has the credentials to critique me on it. So really listening to what he's saying and trying to execute it. Honestly, I couldn't do it without my team. Even when I'm at my highs or when I'm at my lows, like they're still there to pick me up. It's just such a uplifting experience just to be around them. They make you want to push harder even when you feel like you can't push harder, but you just give it your all, and honestly, without their support, this wouldn't be possible.
The Trailblazers will continue to train and prepare for the upcoming WAC Indoor Championship in Spokane, Washington on February 28th through March 1st. This week we had International Women in Sports Day. What a great way to celebrate with all of these records being broken.
We have some incredibly talented women here at Utah Tech, and it's so important to recognize all of their efforts.
It makes me proud to be a Trailblazer just looking at all of the women's accomplishments.
Such an incredible start to the season for all of Utah Tech's women's athletes. Let's keep up the good work, guys. And that's it for this week's edition of Sun News at Noon. Thanks again for tuning in.
We will see you here next week, same time, same place.
And have a great week, Trailblazers.